A father and his son arrived at the oil refinery one morning. School was closed. The boy sat on a bench with his lunch and watched his father work. A colleague arrived late. He looked terrible and tired. He sat on the bench next to the boy and stared at nothing. The boy looked at him, then looked at his own lunch, then held out his sandwich and said, "You can have this." The colleague looked at him. "That's your food, son." The boy said, "I know, but you look like you need it more." The colleague took it and ate slowly. The father saw everything from across the floor and said nothing. On their way home, the father asked, "Why did you give him your food?" The boy shrugged, "Because you always say we give when we can." The father nodded and said nothing else. 2 months later, the father lost his job. The refinery downsized and his name was on the list. He came home and told his wife quietly. The boy heard everything from his room. Weeks passed. The father went from company to company. Nobody called back. The house got quieter. The dinner table got smaller. One evening, the doorbell rang. It was the colleague. Standing at the door with an older man beside him, he said, "This is my uncle. He runs a supply company that works with refineries across the state. There is a senior position open. I told him everything about you." The father stood at the door, unable to speak. The colleague said, "I have been looking for a way to repay your family. That morning your son gave me his sandwich. I had not eaten in 2 days. My wife had just left and taken my children and I was completely broken. Your boy didn't know any of that. He just looked at me and gave." The father turned and looked at his son standing in the hallway. The boy said nothing, just smiled. The father got the job. That night he sat his son down and told him everything. The boy listened to every word, then said quietly, "So the sandwich worked, Dad?" The father pulled him close and held him tight. "Yeah, son," he said. "The sandwich worked. Give even when it is small. You never know what that small thing is carrying someone through." Comment 1 million if you agree.